All right, I think we are live on the internet. I'm going to go over to make sure that we are live on the internet. If you're here live tonight, this is the part where you can also share it with your friends. There we go. Looks like I'm live on the internet. I'm going to share it to my personal profile. I'm going to share it. And then I'm going to close this window so I don't have all the comments back. All right, there are a few people here already. My name is Ben Grace. If you're tuning in and you're not a regular here on our Thursday nights, it looks a little different to our normal Heathen Happy Hour Thursday nights. Hey, Mama Martin. I had decided tonight that I would transport you to a cabin in the woods, which is where I'd kind of want to be, honestly, quite frankly. I want it to be snowy outside. I want it to be cozy inside. I want the fire to be going. I want there to be plenty of chocolate, as it says over there above the stove. And that's kind of what I want. So I think this is Folk Unlocked. This is the set for Folk Alliance International has a festival every single year. And I've never been. I've always wanted to go because it sounds like a blast. They get together and you kind of walk through hotels till all hours in the morning and just jump into rooms and people are playing. And that's kind of what I wanted to do, is to have that same kind of real cozy feel. So I miss being cozy with all y'all. I'm going to start off with a drinking song, because it's a Ben Grace set, and it's Thursday night. Hey Wendy, hey Carrie, Randy, Mercy. And I'm counting all my battles on the way up to the bank. Been slaving all the day under a man who couldn't thank. And at night I take this little stage and beat up old guitar. The only way that I get paid is, boy, you go real far. What are you drinking? And I'm counting all my failures as I stumble off to church. All the shame and guilt I hold and all life's little hurts. And the preacher says the freedom is found in confessing all our sins. Boy, the list is way too long and I don't know where to begin. Oh, for sure this life is thankless, it is cruel. A vapor in the wind, and a game will never win. So forgive me if I look the fool, but I'll praise the Lord for what He gave and drink this cup half full. That's the bit where you can take another sip. Because, you know, it's a folk set, so lots of stories, and the song gets dark. So drink it down while it's good. And I'm counting all my blessings on the way down to the bar. Good knows that these few nights they won't go very far. But I'm sure to find some beauty in the bottom of a beer. Some days, hell, I'll be honest, it's the only joy around here. Oh, for sure this life is thankless, it is cruel. A vapor in the wind, and a game will never win. So forgive me if I look the fool. I praise the Lord for what He gave and drink this cup half full. There it is, another sip. I can't drink. I should have got a straw or something. It's about to get real dark. And I'm counting all my troubles on the way down to the grave. I'm trying to be thankful, just like the scriptures say. And I'm praying at the end of all this struggle I will find a little hope, a dash of joy, and oh Lord, peace of mind. I'm praying, oh Lord, peace of mind. I'm praying, oh Lord, peace of mind. Welcome. Who's Ben Grace? Karyn is Ben Grace tonight. It's fantastic to have Minnesota in the house. You guys probably actually do have the conditions I'm looking for, the wintry snow, I'm quite sure. Well, I can't say I'm quite sure, but you guys can tell me kind of what it's like up there. We seem to manage to evade the winter storm that most of America last week. It's been gorgeous and sunny here in San Diego, which is, typical. So, not kind of rubbing that in, because honestly, I do want a little bit of snow. It would be really lovely. I want to escape to the mountains. All right. If you're in the regular Heathen Happy Hour crowd, you probably haven't seen me play this a bunch, or even probably talk about it. This is a Mandocaster. It's a mandolin, so the typical 8 strings, the double strings of the mandolin on a Fender Telecaster's body. I found this years ago online on a YouTube video, and I was living in Brooklyn at the time, and I was absolutely blown away by this gorgeous little thing. I had this like beat up old kind of, it wasn't old, it was just beat up. It was just a crappy, really cheap acoustic mandolin, which a friend of mine had bought me kind of as a joke. It's like, I'm going to buy you a mandolin and buy me a mandolin, and we're going to be the Dark Mando brothers and do these covers of pop songs on mandolins. And I'm like, sure. But I was writing a lot of stuff on mandolin at the time, and when I kind of found this on a YouTube video, I instantly plugged it into Craigslist in New York, and 3 hours later, I was the proud owner of this Mandocaster, and I took it on tour with Heather Lynn. I think that was that 2017? It was the first tour I did with Heather Lynn in the Midwest, which is probably where I met you, Carrie. And so absolutely love this little thing, tour with it around, and have not been playing it all that much because obviously we have Flammy Grant on guitar and I'm usually playing keys. So thought I would play it a little bit tonight for something a little different. I'm playing a mixture of songs tonight, stuff that's kind of both old and new. I thought with the folk kind of theme, I wanted to go with the more storytelling kind of tunes. I wanted to dig back into some catalogue and play some songs which you guys probably hadn't heard me play before. So our usual kind of setup, we have just the one classic bluegrass folk mic tonight, although there's a little bit of trickery because this is when I'm running through the speakers, not running through an amp. It's a song I wrote years ago with another artist. It was released on an EP in 2015. Mama kept a change in a mason jar, hid inside the case of an old guitar. Too soon those ancient melodies she sang while reading recipes would fade. Daddy left my heart in a sheriff's car, locked away for the bruises on her arms. Too soon my daddy's losing her. She left without a place to call home. Oh, even the best love has its days. Oh, cuts like a razor and it burns like flame. And oh, love is as cruel and strong as the grave. Not even the good ones get away. Starting off with 2 songs with the word cruel. Terrible. Lover dear, don't buy me a diamond ring, 'cause life has taught me love's not worth a thing. Too soon the feelings fade away. What's left is mouths to feed and bills to pay. And oh, even the best love has its days. Oh, cuts like a razor and it burns like flame. Oh, love is as cruel and strong as the grave. Even the best love has its days. Oh, it cuts like a razor and it burns like flame. No, love is as cruel and strong as the grave. Not even the good ones get away. So lover, dear, don't buy me a diamond ring, 'cause life has taught me love's not worth a thing. It's a song called Too Soon, released by Lindsay Luff in 2015 on her debut EP. Hi Sue, glad to see some Aussies in the house tonight. It took me until I moved to America, I think, to kind of realize that kind of folk music, country music, that kind of storytelling was a place I kind of identified and felt as a place of home. I started off kind of in pop rock music and bands and doing all that kind of stuff, and obviously wrote Christian music for a long time as well. And I always thought I hated country music, honestly, probably because you hear the bro country on the radio and just don't really care about trucks and boats and all that kind of stuff. But when I moved to America, and I think I was a huge Britpop fan in the 90s, Pulp and all the great storytellers there, Blur. And when I moved to America, I realized that so the folk country Americana tradition has the same storytelling roots, and it kind of completely was just kind of like, not love at first sight. It kind of took me a bit to find that as kind of my voice and enjoyed that. Hey, Anissa. And when I actually kind of also then made that connection, realized I grew up with Cat Stevens and Peter, Paul and Mary and John Denver, and kind of those things would really at my roots. And I love that kind of singer-songwriter, Americana kind of stuff. Yes, Anissa, this is a green screen. We are not, in fact, in a cabin in the mountains of California, which is what I love to do. But anyway, this is a green screen. All right, so I'm going to bring up Karyn, who's Ben Grace in the comments, my partner in life and creativity. Karyn Thurston, everybody.
Boy, it sure was hard to get here to
Applause.
this desolate cabin in the middle of nowhere where you've decided to have a show today. Oh no, my hat's gonna make shadows. Colby Martin will be upset with me. Colby, I'm sorry. Here, I'll fix it. There, it's better. Okay, I'm ready. Hi. Hi, heathens. I can't pretend to be you anymore if I'm going to be up here.
What do you mean?
Well, I was pretending to be you in the comments. It was fun.
Oh, yeah.
Just telling lies and attributing them to you.
Tell me lies, tell me sweet little
yes,
lies.
I'm a minute. All right, I'm here. What do you need from me?
All right, so we're going to sing a couple of songs together. First, some stuff which kind of predated Karyn, and then we're going to jump into some story and tune, kind of folk storytelling. I wrote this song in Nashville with a friend of mine, Blake Heaney. I do believe it was one of his first co-writes. We were in this tiny, cute little office on Music Row, and kind of met up there, and kind of I'd had some parts of kind of this lyric sitting around in my notes for a while, and kind of pulled it out, and he helped me realize this little song. I really love this little song. It's a cute little ditty.
A ditty?
Yeah, it's a little ditty.
What makes a song a ditty?
I know, it's jaunty.
A jaunty ditty. It is jaunty.
Before Facebook named it, before rival song, before Shakespeare penned it, before all of the rom-coms, before Nashville wrote it, before Bonnie and Clyde, before Cosmo sold it, before our stars did collide. Baby, don't blame me. It's not me or you. Oh, we didn't invent it. And And it sure as hell ain't something new. But it's complicated, honey, like Johnny and June, and I can't comprehend. I can be with you soon. Romeo and Juliet didn't end well. Theirs is a story that we all tell. It's complicated, honey, like water and oil. Things that probably shouldn't go together at all. But love is really simple and fancy free. But honey, won't you try being complicated with me? Whoa,
Hey, Louie.
whoa,
Fancy meeting you here in the woods.
whoa. Take it back to the garden, as far as Adam and Eve, or Alice and Eve. The serpent's never lying when it comes to you and me. I'll have to beg your pardon, the story I'm trying to weave. Lord knows I'm trying to wear my heart on my sleeve. Baby, don't blame me. It's not me or you. Oh, we didn't invent it. And it sure as hell ain't something new. But it's complicated, honey, like Johnny and June, and I can't comprehend. I can be with you soon. Romeo and Juliet didn't end well. But theirs is a story that we all tell. It's complicated, honey, like water and oil. Things that probably shouldn't go together at all. But love is really simple and fancy free. So honey, won't you try being complicated? Cause it's complicated, honey, like Johnny and June, and I can't comprehend. Oh, I can be with you soon. Romeo and Juliet didn't end well. But theirs is the famous story we all tell. It's complicated, honey, like Texas and oil. Things that probably shouldn't go together at all. Love is really simple and fancy free. So honey, won't you try being complicated with me?
That was complicated.
Randy's got it on locks. It's a short, simple song.
Yeah.
This song's, it's one of those, back in the day when Johnny used to write songs that were like 2 minutes long. You just like get in, get out,
Yeah.
That's what I was referring to.
And here, listen. A lot of times I ask him to answer questions that I kind of already know the answer to, just because it's fun to mess with him. So
Oh, great. Put me on the spot. On my own live stream. Thanks so much,
I
Karyn.
appreciate y'all for playing along,
appreciate
though.
it.
That's great. And now we have the actual dictionary definition of a ditty, which is great. 'Cause I didn't have that before. So I'm stoked. I'm stoked to know. A lovely little music hall ditty.
Complicated like Texas and snow. I was thinking about that
no
lyric
joke.
this week, actually, and thinking about Texas and all y'all down there and how brutal it is. I have a lot of friends in Texas, and I think every single one of them has experienced some sort of water pipe bursting or something crazy, or just not been able to kind of get out or get up the hill to get out of their house. It's just so insane. So I hope you guys are staying safe down there. Do love Texas. It'd be great to get back there. Have you been to Texas?
I've been to the airport.
No, it's not the same thing. You've never been out of the airport. You've like flown through in connection.
I've stayed in the airport for a while.
It's not the same thing.
I didn't just fly past the airport. I stopped and stayed. I've run around the Dallas airport. Is huge.
This is very hypocritical coming from me because for a while my rule for if I'd been to a state was I had to stop and have a local beer. And so I
You
think
could have that in the airport. Does it count if you're in the airport?
well that's the thing is like if it was a state that I didn't feel like I could get to, and it was a craft beer bar, I would cheat a little bit.
That is cheating.
But
Well, so yeah, I will take no more of your lip.
I think, for instance, like Arizona. I think I ducked into Arizona. No, it wasn't Arizona. It was New Hampshire. We're driving north from New York up to Vermont, and pretty much there's kind of a river that is basically the border.
Yeah.
And we were on the highway on the Vermont side.
Yeah.
And so we basically just went off the highway, over the river, had lunch, and drove back over. And I've been to New Hampshire. There you
You're
go.
no longer the arbiter of state visitation. Randy is curious about our buddy Paul Deemer, and if you've been in touch with him throughout this whole ordeal.
Paul's doing well. He hasn't had any major damage himself. He knows of a lot of friends who have, and in his neighborhood there was actually a pretty bad power outage. And but he's good. He's well, which I'm glad for.
Yeah.
Actually, was wearing Paul Demas' shirt all day today.
Oh yeah.
It was.
It's a good shirt.
All right. So this is a song called Colorado.
Never heard
Would you come with me to Colorado? Would you scale the Rocky Mountains high? Would you trust this restless desperado? Would you love me till the seas run dry? Let's get away from the city and the noise, and the grinding pace, the pavement pounding, people and their ploys. Let's get away, feel the freedom of the road. We'll see where the wind blows. Would you come with me to El Dorado? Would you sail the stormy seven seas? 'Cause you see through all of my bravado, and yet you still keep choosing me. Don't come away where the wildflowers grow, where the answer to the question we all ask is I don't know. Oh, come away, hear the secrets of the leaves blowing in the soft spring breeze. Oh, come away with me, yeah. Oh, come away with me. Oh, come away with me, oh yeah. Would you come away with me?
Would you come with me to San Diego? Would you meet me at the waterside?
Would you trust this restless desperado? Would you love me till the seas run dry? Would you trust this restless desperado? Would you love me till the seas run dry? Would you trust this restless desperado? Would you love me till the seas run dry?
Did you see what Randy said? That was so nice.
So
to you.
nice. It is really
That's
nice.
the nicest. We owe Randy some brandy someday.
Yeah,
when
certainly
we're all
do.
together again.
Randy, did you see that Wild Goose Festival has a date set for the first weekend in September, which is my birthday weekend? It would be so nice if we could all
hope
go and be
so
there
much.
together.
I want to go to all the retreats. The first year that we can retreats, conferences, camp, whatever. Like I'm out in the wilderness as soon as it is possible. Let us gather in the wilderness. I don't care if there's mud. I don't care if there's rain. I don't care if we have to stay in the real version of this cabin. Although the real
This is
version
a really
is pretty
cute.
cute. Yeah. I'm here for it. I will be there. Bells on.
We had a
Singing a
fantastic
ditty.
conversation on Heathen Podcast yesterday, I think it was. It feels like a long time ago.
It was yesterday.
Yeah. With a gal who runs this amazing retreats. Well, she's planning on running the retreats. She has been
Really good, optimistic future casting, though. She
Yeah.
runs them. They're going to be
Yeah.
amazing.
but they're in Montana. just blanked a little bit on Whitefish or somewhere around kind of there.
I don't know where they are in
It's kind of the
Montana.
northwestern
They're in Montana, where the sky
corner
is
of
big.
Montana, and it's absolutely beautiful. I looked at the while we're talking on the podcast, I looked up the place where they have them, and I was like, I just want to go there so badly.
Yeah. Life after evangelicalism
Yep.
retreats, which is great because the one thing that I for sure did not want to give up about evangelicalism is retreats. I like a retreat. I like a winter retreat. I like a summer retreat. I like an all church retreat. Whatever kind of retreat you got, throw them at me. So I'm really excited.
Yeah.
Excited. You asked me to come and back you up, and now you're going to make me do all of the work on this next song.
Yeah. So for those of you all that don't know, this collaboration right here is Story and Tune.
They know.
People know. Sure. I'm just kind of saying. I'm just saying. Thank you, Seth. So we started writing together before we met. Yes,
Yeah.
that's correct. Because we just put out a song called Birmingham
Right.
on Valentine's Day, and that was a song that I wrote. And I was in Dublin, or I was in Birmingham, sorry, and you were.
Otherwise,
in
it'd be
San
called
Diego.
Dublin.
I'm not on my game tonight.
You're so happy that you asked me to do these things with
Oh,
you.
my stars.
I'm your favorite part of the show.
So yeah, we started writing together before we even met, and then when we got together in real life, and then when I moved to San Diego, the summer of 2019, we wrote 10 songs in 10 weeks for a challenge that was actually a songwriting challenge that was in Minnesota. Actually, we kind of wrote with those prompts that they gave us, and we're also writing a TV show at the same time. So we wrote a whole bunch of songs. Was this in this batch of songs, or was it not in this batch of songs? This was in this batch of songs, right?
Yeah, this
Yeah.
was. I don't remember what the prompt was. It was a chair or something.
Yeah.
It was a whole thing. But I had it in my mind that I really wanted to write a murder song. I wanted to write. So we had these country tropes that we pulled out to go with the prompts that they sent us. And in there was like murder ballad, the night the lights went out in Georgia, that sort of storytelling, creepy song. And so we wrote a murder ballad, and I was excited. It's the hardest I've ever worked on a lyric in my life. Probably will continue to be the hardest I've ever worked on. I know that I spent like a solid many hours in a row on this, and I'm not. Anybody who knows me knows that I'm like the muse lands on me, I write it, I walk away from it, I come back. But this one I was in it for so long.
You labored over this one.
I did. This was a baby. And it's called Blue Ridge.
Yeah.
And I usually preface this song by saying like we don't actually condone violence and arson. So like don't make it weird. I was 12 years old the summer we moved to the hills outside of Clemson. In a rusty wagon near overflowing with Mama's good reasons to run. Mama loved a legend like she loved Jim Beam, always laughing me a story that would spin in my dreams. But her eyes went heavy the first time she told me the name of the wild-hearted woman the Blue Ridge couldn't tame. She was born in the sort of backhanded country where a lady remembers her place, and a young girl's hopes her cry for justice can vanish without a trace. Best not question the way it gets done. Women bleed out just from biting their tongues, and the dust grows thick on the laws and the minds that don't change. Till the wild-hearted woman the Blue Ridge couldn't tame.
You go out in the woods tonight, you better leave your chains, 'cause these hills run with brave rebellion, wolves and over stains. Heaven help the man who claims the forest or her trees, 'cause hell had no fury like a woman breaking free. Oh, hell hath no fury like a woman breaking free.
She was married to the sheriff at just 19. He was hungry and angry and rough. Everyone knew, and the rumors flew, but the whispers were never enough. See, that lawman, he don't care too much. What's his to protect or his to touch? But no one in town would dare to accuse him by name, except the wild-hearted woman the Blue Ridge couldn't tame. So came home with hard tears in her eyes. She marched downtown to the sheriff's station and demanded that he resign. The power bends which you can't prove, lies defend against the truth. They called her a whore for trying to take a good man down. Yeah, they ran that wild-hearted woman right out of this town.
If you go out in the woods tonight, you better leave your chains. These hills run with brave rebellion, wolves and no blood stains. Heaven help the man who claims the forest or her trees, 'cause hell had no fury like a woman breaking free. Oh, hell hath no fury like a woman.
Now the tables turn when what's been silenced breaks into a yell. And what is told and must behave is destined to rebel. One lit match and gasoline will burn down all that won't come clean. Guilty bones quick at catching flame. Now all of the sheriff that remains is the legend of the woman the Blue Ridge couldn't tame. Mama held my hand as she brought me to the forest that summer night, where they still say the wild-hearted woman is waiting and ready to fight. She said, if some man is up to no good, girl, you run right here to the edge of this wood. Close your eyes, just whisper her name. Call the wild-hearted woman the Blue Ridge couldn't tame.
If you go out in the woods tonight, you better leave your chains. 'Cause these hills run with brave rebellion, wolves and old blood stains. Heaven help the man who claims the forest or her trees, 'cause hell had no fury like a woman breaking free. Oh, hell had no fury like a woman breaking free. Like a woman breaking free. Like a woman breaking free.
Don't set things on fire. Unless it's necessary.
Unless they really deserve it.
And if it's necessary, we'll help you find some matches. Burn it down.
I am with Seth Jones. The Blue Ridge Mountains are so, so gorgeous. I visited for the first time, guessing 2017, I think it was, so 4 years ago now. And man, the way you drive along kind of the winding roads,
Yeah.
and then when the steam and the mist comes up from the roads and the whole thing kind of there is gorgeous.
Yep.
It's funny because the Wild Goose Festival is this super progressive bunch of Christian hippies in the woods, and I've been there most years for the last couple of years, and you have to drive through some real back country to get there. My favorite moment, I think, in that first time I was there was I drove through. Maybe it was the second time, I don't remember, but I drove from Nashville across to it's around the Asheville area is kind of where the Wild Goose Festival is.
Nashville to Asheville?
Nashville to Asheville.
That's not confusing at all.
Yeah. Stopped in Knoxville as well.
Stop it.
Nashville to Knoxville to Asheville.
Sorry.
And as we were driving out of Knoxville and coming into kind of the sort of the mountain road that kind of climbed along the foothills, we just passed through this little town, and in front of us there was a truck, and it was, what do you call a flatbed? Is it a flatbed?
Sure.
Is there another name for it? We call it a ute in Australia.
Truck.
A pickup truck.
Pickup truck?
Yeah.
Okay.
Pickup truck with a flatbed, and there was
Go ahead, keep talking.
2 older women and a small child and a handful of dogs in the flatbed of the truck, just openly drinking, and one of the women was just in a bathing costume, just hanging out, smoking, drinking whiskey in the back of a flatbed, pulling into a liquor store. And I was just like, that's perfect.
That's great. That's exactly what it should be. Yes, Kate, we are currently in our new Lake Arrowhead cabin, obviously. We've just fast forwarded 10 years and we live here now. And Josh Scott, I'm so glad. I assume that you are referring to not my fabulous hat, but the hat of heathen to go with your badge of heresy, in which case I hope you wear all of them with great pride. We love y'all. We're so glad that you're here. And then, Seth is like, I think I rented this tiny house on an Airbnb once in Temecula. You very well may have. This may be an image from the internet of a house that you can actually rent somewhere. So
I don't remember where it was.
it's entirely possible.
do up
Stranger
my
things have
jacket.
happened.
Can you help me do up my jacket?
Yeah, I can maybe help with this. Maybe.
Otherwise, the
You have to
buttons
put
will...
your arms down, I think. Otherwise, we're not going to be friends right now.
This is super pro how we do this all here.
Super professional marriage.
All right.
That's the best I
That's-
could do.
Yeah,
Well,
it's going to be interesting.
you've
It's gonna
got it
work.
all like funky with you.
It's all good.
That's why you don't wear a
It'll-
suit usually when you.
That's right. That's true.
Hey, more murder songs. This is not
More
really
murder
This
songs.
is an accidental death song.
Right.
This is a folk show.
That's right. This is why we're doing all these kind of storytelling kind of songs. This was another song that I think you dreamed up. You're just like, I really want to write a song about this. So there's a thing in San Diego. Do you want to tell the people about the thing in
Go
San Diego?
ahead. This is the Ben Grace show.
There's this amazing thing that happens when the tide comes in every so often. And I don't know why it's called a red tide. Have we had this conversation before? We probably have.
Because of the algae.
Because the algae. So that the algae is actually red in color.
Yes.
Okay, so the red algae comes in, but it makes the actual tide when the waves break, it actually kind of turns them like bluish green.
At night, it's bioluminescence. It's blue.
There we go. There
During
we
the
go.
day, it is red. It smells bad, but it's really pretty at night because it's bioluminescent, and anything that is bioluminescent is awesome.
So Karyn just wanted to write a song about bioluminescence, and because we're on this,
Like you do.
this is a science show now, kids.
I
This
wrote
is
a
science
potty
show.
song this week. Cheers.
And yeah, so kind of, this is another one you kind of laboured over a little more because you really wanted to make it work, and it's a big story, a long, long, long ass story. Kind of put into there, but it's a lovely one.
That's it.
I don't know. Is
I
there
think
anything
it's
else we
good.
need to talk
Yeah.
about?
No,
Okay.
they're gonna hear it. It's gonna be fine.
Oh, he built a house just north of where the sea took the girl with the long dark hair, and the ring she wore his best laid plans, and any hope he had that he might love again. Only 16 when he learned her name, 22 when she had it changed to his one Sunday late in June. Spent a week by the sea for their honeymoon. She said, right here, the sand, the sky, the sun setting down and the look in your eye. This is everything I'll ever need. What else could heaven be? Sea kept the girl one morning swim, kept her life and tomorrow and the best of him. Though he searched the waves till the skies turned black, though he counted forevers that were never coming back. But blue like a rise in an ocean grave, came a light from the break of the crashing waves, and her voice like glass in the shutter glow, whispering a promise that she'd never go. He heard her right here, the sand, the sea, midnight shining over you and me. This is everything I'll ever need. What else could heaven be? Now she comes with a red tide and springtime by his side, and she says his name so sweet and clear that he don't care that nobody else can hear. Well, the winds change and the waves shine with a light like her blue eyes, and and she says his name so sweet and clear that he don't care that nobody else can hear. Nobody else can hear. He waits all year for the tide to change, when the waves turn red and the air turns strange. He stands by the sea till the sky goes black, pale blue glows and the girl comes back. The town sings the story like a campfire song, how love is strange and deep and strong, while they watch him whisper to what he can see, to go so to heartache and to the light from the sea. They say out there, the sand, the sea. He smiles and he laughs like somebody free. He's got everything he'll ever need. What else could heaven be? Now she comes with a red tide every springtime by his side, and she says his name so sweet and clear that he don't care that nobody else can hear. Well, the winds change and the waves shine with a light like her blue eyes, and she says his name so sweet and clear that he don't care that nobody else can hear. Nobody else can hear. He built the house just north of where the sea took the girl with the long dark hair.
This concludes our songs about dead people portion of the evening.
Songs about dead people.
Sometimes that four-wing really gets
With
me.
Ben and Karyn.
It's all the way in. And it's like, let's write about bioluminescence and ghosts, because clearly those things go together.
I'm not really a guitarist, and I'm also realizing that my butt is real huge over here, and so I'm hitting this light that's
You're
just out of
fine.
sight.
Whose guitar you play?
Well, as Tom, who actually who complimented the guitar.
Dad, what year did you buy this guitar? We'll wait. We won't wait. We're going to keep talking, but eventually my dad will tell you how long he's had this guitar, how old it is, how long it's been cracked.
Yep, it's got some cracks down here.
Longer than I've been cracked.
And we did get this kind of set up though, and kind of taken to a guitar shop and kind of cleaned up, and the input now kind of works. It's not plugged in currently, but it kind of works and plugs in. I still feel like the action's a little bit too low. So up here, it's a little bit. Anyway,
He's a grumpy old man.
these are nerdy things, but
We like him.
yeah, I
He's
like
nice.
him a lot. He has a little like sort of plastic back, old
Bumpy.
school, 70s youth pastor style.
Nice fingerprints because we didn't clean them.
Yeah, that's right.
It's great. What else are we going to sing?
Look how amazing how this guitar fits into the little.
It really
little
does
cabin,
look like
though.
it belongs in this room. Like you walked into this imaginary cabin
just
and
pulled it
picked
off
up
the
a
wall.
real guitar.
Yeah,
This is the
that's right.
magic of television, ladies and gentlemen.
Look at all these lovely people who hang out with us. It's really lovely.
We like them.
Thanks for being here. We've all got a crack somewhere. That's how the light gets in, Seth. That's how the light gets in.
Here we go. Thanks, Seth. 1977. It's older
Wow.
than you.
That's amazing.
That's great, right?
I like that.
Paid for with proceeds from Space Shuttle development.
This is only one of two guitars that we have now that are older than me.
Yeah.
This one is only 2 years older than me. The other one is significantly older.
You bought it at Sam Ash and
Oh, there you go. I bought my first guitar in New York from Sam Ash, New York as well.
oh, good stories, you guys.
Yeah,
It's like
isn't
a
that
folk
lovely?
show.
It's all just gone around.
It's great.
I walked in and bought a Godin guitar, which is a Canadian folk guitar. I didn't kind of realize that at the time, but it was very thin. It was only kind of really about this thin, but it was actually hollow. So it kind of it functioned kind of like an acoustic, but it was not as loud in a room. So it kind of was a nice little New York apartment because it couldn't make too much of a racket.
Yeah.
but actually had two inputs and actually had humbuckers inside, so it can actually kind of make it sound like an electric guitar as well, not even acoustic electric, but actually electric guitar. Bought it from Sam Ash and bought the black one because it was sexy, and my ex was like, I like the black one, it's really sexy. I'm like, okay, cool.
We've noticed your outfit. BT dubs.
I like black.
Shocker.
The other guitar we got, the other guitar.
Tell about the song. Yeah.
The other guitar is so sexy. I can't
It's
wait
really
to actually
lovely. We can't play it yet. Someday we will.
It's
and
really,
it will
really
be great.
delightful.
I have to drink some wine because this guitar nerdery just went 3 levels deeper than I was willing to go. Look, merch.
This is merch. Ben Grace merch. You can get your As If Words Could Heal the Wounds mug at bengrace.com and click the merch tab. You can also get sweaters and all sorts of things.
It's true. Here's a sad song about a cowboy.
Yeah. You can answer his wink with a smile when you meet at the bar. Give in to a dance or a summer romance. Honey, hold on to your heart. You can make love, you can wake up with him in your bed. But his only home is a saddle, and his battle ain't yours to regret. If he leaves in the morning, he'll still be worth more than slick tongues and silvery lies. So don't hitch up his horse to your house like he won't say goodbye. You can't tell the sun down in Dallas that it shouldn't burn. And you can't run away from a lesson you need to learn. You can only hold on to a memory till it fades away. And you can't love a cowboy like he's gonna stay. You can cry when he writes you a song on a lonely guitar. Laugh in his arms 'cause he means you no harm. But honey, it ends when it starts. You can tell him you wait, but he ain't gonna come back around. 'Cause rivers don't change their direction, and a cowboy can tie himself down. When he leaves in the morning, he'll still be worth more than slick tongues and silvery lies. So don't hitch up his horse to your house like he won't say goodbye. You can't tell the sun down in Dallas that it shouldn't burn. You can't run away from a lesson you need to learn. You can only hold on to a memory till it fades away. And you can't love a cowboy, well, he's gonna stay. Westward he rides, chase the stars in his eyes, till the dust on his boots meets the sea. And he finds that old road just let him alone, when he thought it was leading him free. You can't tell the sun down in Dallas that it shouldn't burn. You can't run away from a lesson you need to learn. You can only hold on to a memory till it fades away. And you can't love a cowboy like he's gonna stay. No, you can't love a cowboy like he's gonna stay. I really do like that song.
Me too.
I think it's a really good Enneagram 3 song. I think the bridge is a super Enneagram 3 song.
The 3's a cowboy. Cowboy 3?
Yeah.
Word.
I think where it hits me in all the feels that song is that kind of feeling like don't feel like I've ever quite arrived and feel like I'm always just pushing forward to the next thing, just pushing forward into like what's next has to be better. It has to be whatever's around the bend, whatever's over the next corner, whatever's there. And so this picture, I think, of the almost like I don't know if you've seen the movie Revenant. It's a brutal movie, kind of where is it Leonardo DiCaprio? Maybe he's in that movie. I think it's Leo. Gets mauled by a bear. That scene is absolutely amazing. But the spirit of like the people that would come in and kind of explore the country, explore the world, and only to come over the mountains of California, and then there's just like sea in front of you, and that feeling of just like despair. Like I tell the story often, I think, when I play the song, but Alexander the Great, who is a problematic character, but conquered the then known world all the way through and got all the way to India, all the way through the Middle East, and fell into this Great Depression because he felt like there was nothing else to conquer, and kind of lost his way and basically kind of drank himself to death. And I'm like, that's the dark side of threes and the dark side of this endless pushing forward.
The illusion that freedom means not being attached to anything.
Yeah.
And really that's sometimes the opposite of what is true.
That's right.
You've taken Colby Martin on quite the emotional journey in the last few minutes. I'll just let you catch up. Just give him a moment.
There you go.
First you blew
There you
his
go.
mind. It's a magic happen.
I'd like to
Magic
know if
things
that actually
happen.
landed with Colby.
Magic things happen where you just think that something's funny and the reaction button just goes. Magic happen. Hey, speaking of Martins, here's a song about Kate.
Yeah.
And the Statue of Liberty.
Do you want to tell that whole story?
It's hard to write a song about Kate and not also write a song about the Statue of Liberty, as we all know. This is a song called Torch that started out... This was one of those ones that landed on top of me fully formed, and I had a mild panic attack trying to get it out into my little notes on my phone before it went away, with a sense of dire urgency where I then grabbed Ben and hijacked his whole Sunday night and was like, we will finish this song right now or else I think I might die. But it started from the actual origin of the lyrics of this song is Kate was sitting out on her deck holding Mercy, who is Anissa and Benjamin's littlest baby. And she was literally holding baby Mercy. And there was an owl that was swooping above her, and she was sitting on the porch. And so that was the image that this whole song came from. And then as I was writing it, it just turned into this idea of sort of reclaiming the motherhood that is at the heart of what we have just ruined in the American dream. But this idea of mothering and of open shores and bring me your tired and your weary and your huddled masses and all of these things, and the idea of holding back the lightning and this defensive, beautiful, broody hen motherhood. So it all kind of merged together, and now it's a song about justice and deconstruction and my best friend and baby Mercy and everything that we love all at once. So there it is.
I love how you say hijacked. I think kind of when you wrote this song, I mean, you're like, hey, we need to write this song then. But it was actually the same day we wrote the song and I recorded the whole thing, the demo that day.
Oh.
And thought the demo actually ended up being the actual song that was actually released.
Yep, it's beautiful.
That I kind of worked on for a while and chipped away at kind of the the mixing part of it and released it. So I've never done that before, written a song and recorded it on the same day.
Quick turnaround.
Yeah. She don't keep a record of the wrongs that we will carry. She is hell-bent and wary. She was always quick to cry. And I hope it swoop in circles that she used to be afraid of. Shapes that she is made of, well, it happens, they can fly. And she don't believe in Jesus, not the way you think she should. But it's mercy that she's holding on for good. Ooh, oh, ooh, Well, she's aching at the edges. Yeah, she's breaking at the seams. She has always been a dreamer, but her midnight's closing in. She's a vessel and a hero. Love can pick its poison. She is swallowing the noise, and she is staying till we win. And she don't believe in Jesus, not the way you think she should. But it's mercy that she's holding, and she's holding on. No, she don't believe in Jesus, not the way you think she should. But it's mercy that she's holding, and she's holding on for good. So bring your tired and huddled masses, bring your yearning to be free. Bring your never was and has-beens, bring your desperate liberty. She is mothering the exiles, she is coming home for more. She is holding back the lightning, she's lighting up the shore. Ooh, oh, oh, oh. And she don't believe in Jesus, not the way you think she should. But it's mercy that she's holding. No, she don't believe in Jesus, not the way you think she should. It's mercy that she's holding, and she's holding on for good. Oh, oh, oh,
Ooh, I'm done.
Claps, applause for Karyn.
You guys, I'm
Oh,
going
I
on
pressed
break.
the A button, but the sound effects don't seem to be working.
I don't really take breaks from Heathen Happy Hour that often.
I know.
This is like already not quite Heathen Happy Hour, but I'm
Go
excited.
on break.
I'm gonna go sit on the audience couch over there, not in this cabin, but at home. I'm gonna just teleport home and watch you live on Facebook.
Thanks for coming on,
Yeah,
Karyn.
have a good rest of your time. Bye.
Storyandtune.com to follow us, and on the Instagrams and on the Facebooks. And then if you want to follow Karyn, it's at Goal of Cardigan on Instagram, and Goal of Cardigan on Facebook, and goalofcardigan.com. Yeah, that is the mighty Karyn. Through which I think since I've met you, I've only written one song by myself.
You can't talk to me directly anymore.
You've tapped out. I can't have conversations with you. It's all over. Yeah, I think since that's true. I think since kind of 2019, since we've been together, I've only written one song by myself. So that's a good problem to have, is to have someone I can actually partner with. We were at 50 songs in 2019, and we had a pretty we're at only 11 songs last year. It was kind of a dry year because we were obviously live streaming every Thursday and doing lots of other things and recording lots of things. 21 songs I think I produced last year. So yeah, this year we've already written as many as we've written last year, 11 songs, because we're writing an NBC kids TV show right now. So, what are we up to? I need to take a sip. I do love this nerdery, Tom. This is an amazing story, personally modified by Dan Torrens at his original guitar shop in Saratoga in '78. Amazing. That's incredible. So I think, for me, one of the things that drew me back to this kind of folk tradition was the fact that folk actually had a conscience and kind of wrote about things that mattered. And the 60s, 70s folk movement, you couldn't have really untied folk from the protest movement and from kind of the stories of the people and from, things like Vietnam. They're all sort of tied in together. And I think that, to me, that's kind of one of the things that I love about music, is kind of when you can kind of get behind a story and get into it and kind of get behind all of the emotion in it and kind of get behind people's defenses and talk about the things that are kind of really real. So this next song I'm going to play is a song I wrote back in 2014. It was written the same day that the decision came back to not indict the people who killed Mike Brown, and that was a crazy day for me. It was that was as the Black Lives Matter movement was sort of getting a whole bunch of steam, and we're kind of seeing a lot of people losing their lives at the hands of cops, and to have this decision come back to not indict the police in this matter was really unbelievable to me at the moment, at that time. I've obviously since come to realise that that's just sort of par for the course, unfortunately. But yeah, I barely got out of bed that day, and the only thing that sort of got me out was this little chorus that started kind of winding its way around my brain. And I texted the same collaborator that I kind of wrote that second song with, and said, "Do you want to write?" And she said yes. And so I kind of waited for her to get off work, and I started writing on the first couple of verses, and I ran over to her place. And as we got started, kind of with the co-write, we got the news that they had shut down Brooklyn Bridge because people were marching from Times Square into Brooklyn. A whole bunch of thousands and thousands of people marching in protest. And so the song's called Mama, and it's kind of my hope and prayer that we can see black and brown bodies in this country, and we can hear the stories, and we can really hear the pain that these communities have been through. I looked into my heart and saw a darkness, a deep and ancient chill within my bones. Ever since the envy that spilled a brother's blood, we're all dying to throw stones. But from St. Louis Springs I ride for all of the kids not coming home. And I see a struggle that binds us all tonight, that marches the streets to atone. Mama, I'm having those bad dreams again, where the wicked don't pay for what they done. Mama, the evil dwells in hearts of men, no peace or justice under the sun. On a cold November's afternoon in Cleveland, a child with his cheap plastic gun, only 3:30, and they left him there to bleed. Too young to learn, he didn't have time to run. Mama, I'm having those bad dreams again, where the wicked don't pay for what they done. Mama, all the evil that dwells in hearts of men, no peace or justice under the gun. Father of 6 in New York City, selling cigarettes out in the street, dying in daylight for all of us to see. I can breathe, 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 I can't breathe, I can breathe, I can't breathe, I can't breathe. Mama, I'm having those bad dreams again, where the wicked don't pay for what they done. Mama, the evil that dwells in hearts of men, no peace or justice under the sun. No peace or justice under the sun. You wrote a note and caught my eye. It passed from hand to hand and worked its way on down the aisle. Your mother, dear, one step ahead, intervened and told those tender words to shreds. And I wondered what the preacher's daughter said. Then I wondered what the preacher's daughter said. After the dance, your sweet 16, you grabbed my hand and dragged me out behind the cemetery. Your mouth was warm, your cheeks were red, and then your daddy came roaring and we fled. And I wondered what the preacher's daughter said. Then I wondered what the preacher's daughter said. Years roll by and I moved away. I heard that you got married and took on another name. You play the part in Sunday best, and all the while your thoughts and longings unexpressed. I still wonder what the preacher's daughter said. I still wonder what the preacher's daughter said. Yeah, I'm still wondering what the preacher's daughter said. Thanks, y'all. I couldn't look at the screen because y'all being very nice. Nice to me while I'm singing songs. Don't distract me. This is one of these weird things, I think. The difference between live and being online is in the room, rarely are people kind of whispering to each other, but I feel like you guys are whispering in the comments. And it's delightful. I'm here for it. That's a song I wrote in 2018, I think it was. Still one of my favorite songs I think I've ever written as well. And I think for me, I love the story-driven songs and being able to kind of write a whole kind of lifetime of things in just a handful of words is kind of remains one of those things in my life that I've kind of, always kind of chasing down and staring down. But that song came from like a lot of my own experience. It's not my exact story, although it caused a lot of speculation amongst people who know me about who that was in that story, and it's not a real story. And yet I think for many of us who were brought up in church, the kind of the pain of purity culture and the pain of repressed sexuality and the pain of kind of having to walk around these things which are so beautiful and so rich and so true for each and every one of us, that sexuality is a huge part of who we are, that we have to somehow mute that or turn that into something evil, something to be feared, something to be avoided. It really has wreaked havoc on my life, and I know it's wreaked havoc on a lot of other people's lives. and it's something that I think we're still kind of dealing with the fallout culture. In fact, on Heathen Podcast, Flamey and I interviewed Talk Purity to Me, which is an amazing Instagram account if you don't kind of follow it. Absolutely kind of amazing at kind of taking down just the toxicity of kind of this culture. And I think there were a bunch of things that kind of led to it. So I think I will play this this song called A Little Story. It really tells the whole journey of kind of where I grew up in this very conservative kind of Christian family, and kind of how I think for me, from a young age, I remember sitting in a sermon, and it was a particularly boring kind of one. We used to call it the exhortation. You're supposed to be exhorted. You're supposed to be kind of compelled to good works, and this was a particularly boring one. I was thumbing through the Bible, and I got to like Isaiah, and kind of just this word justice kept on kind of reaching out to me, and I kind of got out a pink pen and just started kind of colouring where I found it, and kind of the fact that the God of the Old Testament, who often gets a bad rap, still was so concerned with the widows and the fatherless and the strangers in the land, the immigrants, that this God, which we have put so much on top of our kind of desire for blood, our desire for vengeance, our desire for sacrifice, that we put this in kind of the hands of the divine, and so this is kind of what the divine wanted. But the insistence in Isaiah that it wasn't the blood of bulls and rams, and it wasn't the kind of the fat of goats that God required, but a broken heart, and for the world around us, and a broken heart to feel compassion for those who are othered and those who have been oppressed. And I think that was 11 or 12 years of age was sort of that first step of deconstruction for me. So this kind of song kind of really comes out of that and comes out of that experience. I love how Karyn Thurston Gilmore and Ben Grace are talking in the comments to each other. It's really lovely. If Josh is still here, this is the song I know that he loves. We told a little story about your love, with children's books about Noah's Ark and the flood. Told a little story about the world that you created. In only 7 days we took it literally. We told a little story, sang our little songs, little dog your glory, saying that our tribe's the only one. We told a little story about your grace, but we neglected to include the entire human race. Told a little story about your plan to save the chosen ones, and saw the sheep out from the goats and right from wrong. We wove a little fable, we told a little lie, told our little children that their little sins condemn them all to die. Little did we know, and little did we care, and little did we grow, littler every year. I sense a bigger story than before. Every daughter, every son, and every human one of yours see the bigger glory. A gentler, humbler kind of love that's willing to stand with the hurt and broken, every one of us. So tell a bigger story, sing a bigger song. You see that God's not bigoted, not concerned in right or wrong. And yes, this love is bigger than deeper, wider, higher than, so big that all the universe belongs, so big that all the universe belongs. What is happening in the comments?
The closed captions for Preacher's Daughter are the best thing that
Oh, really?
I've seen. The auto-generated captions. Like Drake was with y'all behind the cemetery.
Oh, wow.
It was a whole thing.
Man.
And it was so beautiful. I'm so happy that I watched it silently.
I still want to go the sin, don't see. Is that one of the captions?
That's one of the translations of I Wonder What the Preacher's Daughter said was,
Wow.
I still want to go the sin, don't see.
Closed captions are not good with singing in an Australian accent, apparently.
One of
So,
them was, I still wonder what both preachers are not doing.
whoa.
It's just so off. It's so great.
All right, I'm going to come back over to here, to this little guy. Thanks so much for hanging out in the comments and hanging out tonight. All my music is on Spotify, iTunes, Bandcamp, anywhere you kind of listen to music. My music is on there. Like I mentioned earlier, there's merch available if you want some As If Words Could Heal the Wounds mugs, or that Colorado song, which a lot of people love, the line "Let's Get Away." I have that in Weekend at Totes, and T-shirts, and travel coffee mugs. If you want to follow along with kind of the songwriting journey, the best way to do that is on Patreon. So Patreon basically is kind of the oldest way we've kind of made music and arts throughout the centuries. And that's basically kind of patronizing an artist and kind of allowing them to do their work. I love my artist community. Actually, this next month will be 3 years I've actually been on Patreon, so I'm about to revamp that whole thing and kind of start afresh with a couple of things, kind of a few ideas I want to do. Mainly because most of my Patreon had been geared towards releasing the album, which I released in September of last year, and so I kind of want to reassure people there is a lot more to come on the songwriting. Like I said, we wrote 50 songs in 2019, and there's a lot of music. There's a lot of music kind of to come that Karyn and I are still writing, and things we haven't yet to record. And so one of the things my patrons kind of get all the glimpses behind the songs, the demo process. They heard the demo of Birmingham a year ago, before it was out in the world. And so yeah, lots of glimpses behind the scenes. I'm kind of trying to revamp that whole thing this month. So Patreon's the best way you can do that, or you can tip me on PayPal as well, or Venmo at Ben Grace Music. All those things are great, but not necessary. I think I got a couple more songs. Can't really tell because the the PA in the room is incredibly quiet, so I can't tell if that kind of has any bass to it. So we'll see how the song goes. This is a song I wrote in 2016. It was the week that Philando Castile and Alton Sterling, both black men, were shot at the hands of police. And that very same week in Dallas, there was a peaceful protest, and there were police who were actually marching with the protesters to protect them. As they protested and kind of said the Black Lives Matter, and 5 cops were unfortunately shot by someone who was counter-protesting. And in the faith tradition I grew up in and still lurk around the edges of in Christianity, in the central text of Isaiah, which I was talking about earlier before that last song, there's this line about melting down our weapons and making them garden tools. And so there's a song that I think kind of talks about violence in the world and the violence that we have inherently in ourselves. And I think so much of Christianity as we know it and see it today has a bloodlust for vengeance, has a bloodlust for power still. And this is something that I believe Jesus came to dismantle, the nonviolent approach of amazing people like MLK Jr. Is kind of the way. But first we need to root out the violence in our own hearts and our own self-hatred. So it's a song called An Eye for an Eye. Oh, the news reels flow with the blood of all our young men, and the videos show black bodies falling again. All the flags fly at half-mast as the horrors are broadcast from Baghdad to Baton Rouge, and we struggle to weep because we ain't even shocked by the news. Beat our swords into plowshares, melt down all the guns, disarm the whole world. But until that day comes, I keep on dreaming of a world without war. 'Cause a tooth for a tooth and an eye for an eye leaves the whole world blind. It's not worth fighting for. And we walk through the streets like all of our grandmothers died, and we type till we bleeding a digital war for our lives. But the rhetoric resounds, and the hatred abounds from both sides of the enemy lines. They say guns don't kill people, but we see the videos live. Beat our swords into plowshares, melt down all the guns, disarm the whole world. But until that day comes, I'll keep on dreaming of a world without war. 'Cause a tooth for a tooth and an eye for an eye leaves the whole world blind. It's not worth fighting for. No, it's not worth fighting for. No. So I hope and I pray in the face of all anger and hate that there will come a day, sorrow and tears wiped away. No more mothers in mourning, a new day is dawning when peace will have the last say. 'Cause true love is roaring and Abel's blood calls from the grave. Beat our swords into plowshares, melt down all the guns, we'll disarm the whole world. But until that day comes, I'll keep on dreaming of a world without war. 'Cause a tooth for a tooth and an eye for an eye leaves the whole world blind. It's not worth fighting for. A tooth for a tooth and an eye for an eye leaves the whole world blind. It's not worth fighting for. Thanks you all so much for hanging out with me tonight. It's been really lovely. We'll be back on the regular Heathen Happy Hour schedule for those of you all who are in kind of, I think most of you at this stage are kind of in that community. Have we decided what it is? What is it? Enneagram 1 songs. So if you don't know a heck of a lot about Enneagram, we'll be talking about it a little bit as we go through this, but we also open that up for people to request songs. So if you kind of want to request Enneagram 1 songs. If you want to share if you are an Enneagram 1, what are your favorite songs? If you want to send one of your favorite Enneagram 1 people a song, we'll be there next week at the usual time, usual place, Heathen Happy Hour, doing all those kind of things. I don't think there's anything else I've missed. Thank you, Seth. All right, I'm going to finish with a lullaby. Written a lot of lullabies over the years. And so there's always a bit of quandary about how to finish and which one to finish with, but I don't play the song very much, so I figured I might actually... I figured I might do this one. This song was conceived on a porch in Texas. When I left New York in August of 2018 and kind of uprooted my whole entire life there and left very much with the tail between my legs, kind of thinking honestly that I felt like a lot of my career was over and dealing with a lot of grief and a lot of pain. A really amazing friend, Suzanne Castle, who's often here in the comments as well, sort of caught me and whisked me off to Texas and kind of said, come and live with us for about a month. And so I lived out in a little town called Jacksboro, Texas, which is about an hour and a half northwest of Fort Worth, in a county that is, I think, about 98% Republican and houses two of the largest prisons in Texas. Two prisons, one of the largest women's prisons in Texas. And so I think out of the town of 4,000 people, I think about 1,000 of them are incarcerated, which is crazy. And so I lived on 2 ranches there, mostly by myself. And the second ranch I lived at, I think it was, 10 miles between me and the closest human. And so it was kind of an amazing experience to just have the silence, to go from a city of New York, almost 10 million people, I think, with all the undocumented people there as well, to this town of 4,500 people in Texas, and just kind of have the quiet descend and be able to just at night hear the coyotes kind of howl and hear all the crickets and all kind of the life and nature around me that was kind of going on, in spite of what I kind of felt like was a sort of catastrophe and a huge earthquake in my life. And so I was doing a lot of my own kind of self-searching and kind of running as if my life depended on it. It was still kind of the height of summer in Texas. Well, it wasn't technically summer, but it felt like it. It was still most days over 100 degrees, and I was still running along these dusty, unpaved roads and kind of running all my demons out. And one day I walked back inside, and it was just so hot, and so I was just shedding clothes. I was just going to go straight to a cold shower. And I walked past the mirror in the bathroom, and it was on the wall, and I walked past and sort of caught a glimpse of myself in the mirror, and I think because it was so quiet and there was no other stimulus around, I heard this voice just say, "You're disgusting," and I just couldn't. It felt like it came from me. It felt like that was the truth that I kind of knew about myself, is that I found myself disgusting and disturbing, and so I had to kind of do a bunch of work. While I was there, I was reading this amazing book called Learning to Walk in the Dark by Barbara Brown Taylor, and really putting together my fear of a lot of things that were kind of negative, my fear of my anger, my fear of my self-loathing, and kind of being able to try and welcome the darkness and welcome the silence and become a person that can be okay just to be myself, which is kind of funny because now, obviously in 2020, we found ourselves, almost entirely disconnected from folks. And so it was kind of in the spirit of that song, in the spirit of kind of all that was going on, this song was kind of born. And at night I would often sit out just in this corner of the porch. It was a enclosed porch because of all of the crickets and the insects that were going to run around. But I'd sit out in the one little corner because I would get 1 bar of phone service there, and I could kind of text friends and kind of send things backwards and forwards, and I would make my own homemade margaritas and sit on the porch and get a little tipsy and kind of write. And so this song kind of fell out, and I think, it sounds like a flirty little song that you would send to someone to kind of say, come to bed. But I think a lot of it was more about my own struggle with intimacy myself, and kind of feeling alone in my being. So this is called Come to Bed, My Darling. Come to bed, my darling. The night is much too loud. The crickets croak and the owls hoot, and the hungry coyotes howl. So come to bed, my darling. Our porch lights pierce the night, confuse the eyes built for darkness, and disturb all the bats in flight. Come to bed, my darling. Embrace these tired bones. I'd rather not drift off to deep sleep in these cold sheets alone. So come to bed, my darling. Hold your worries next to mine. Let go your woes into the waves of passions pulling tight. Good night, everybody. May you learn to love yourself. Peace. See you soon.